The Daily 202, only 1 in 4 Americans strongly support Trump with Joni Grieve and Brianda Piss. The big idea, President Trump is not Teflon, and the conventional wisdom that nothing matters is wrong. A fresh Washington Post ABC News poll underscores the softness of Trump's support as he prepares to mark 6 months in the White House on Thursday. It also highlights a growing intensity gap. Support for the president is more tepid, but opposition is increasingly inflamed. The president's overall approval rating has slipped to 36% from 42% in April. For context, George W. Bush and Barack Obama both held 59% approval ratings in post-ABC polls conducted around their 6-month anniversaries. Media coverage often focuses on how rank-and-file Republicans, as well as elected officials, continue to stand behind Trump. While true, a close examination of the results suggests that no more than 1 in 4 Americans believe passionately in him or his presidency at this juncture. Trump's disapproval rating has risen to 58% in the national survey, which was conducted last Monday through Thursday. Overall, 48% disapprove strongly of how he's doing. But while 36% approve of Trump overall, only 25% approve strongly. Consider the partisan breakdown. 82% of self-identified Republicans approve of how Trump is doing, including 62% who approve strongly. Meanwhile, 85% of Democrats disapprove of Trump, but a larger 75% disapprove strongly. Where Trump really differs from Obama is that his approval leans more heavily on strong backers. Obama's average strong approval was 28% during his presidency, not much different than Trump today. But Obama averaged 21% somewhat approval, 10 points higher than Trump. Across the battery of questions in the survey, Trump's hardcore base of support appears to be about a quarter of the public, give or take. 24% say that, since taking office, Trump has acted in a way that's fitting and proper for a president of the United States. 70% say Trump has acted in a way that is unpresidential. 24% approve of Trump's use of Twitter. Just 13% strongly approve. 2/3 disapprove of the president's use of social media, and 53% strongly disapprove. Compared with previous presidents, 23% think Trump is doing a better job than most. While 17% say he's doing a much better job, 38% think he's doing much worse. 3 in 10 believe Trump is a positive role model for young people. For perspective, 18% said the same of Bill Clinton in a post-ABC poll conducted the week after the Salacious Starr report was released in 1998. 27% think America's leadership in the world has gotten stronger under Trump. 26% believe it was appropriate for Trump's son, Donald Jr., to meet last summer with a Russian lawyer who said she had damaging information about Hillary Clinton. This includes just less than half of Republicans. Despite all evidence to the contrary, just over 3 in 10 Americans still do not think the Russian government tried to influence the outcome of last fall's U.S. presidential election. While 34% trust Trump to negotiate on America's behalf with other world leaders, only 19% trust him a great deal. The other 15% trust him just a good amount. 2/3 of the country does not trust Trump at all in negotiations, which is remarkable when you think back to how heavily he emphasized his negotiating skills during the campaign. On health care, 24% favor the Republican plan over Obamacare. 17% strongly favor the GOP plan, which was not explained in detail. Would you say that the more you hear about Trump, the more you like him? Or the more you hear about Trump, the less you like him? Ask that question, roughly 3 in 10 adults said more. Nearly 6 in 10 said less. The poll, based on a sample of more than 1,000 adults, has a margin of sampling error of plus or minus 3.5 percentage points. Responding on Twitter, Trump said his 36% approval rating, which he rounded up to 40%, is not bad at this time. But he also attacked the post-ABC poll as just about the most inaccurate poll around election time. In fact, the Post and ABC's final poll was well within the sampling error and correctly showed Clinton ahead in the national popular vote. What Americans love and hate about Trump, A job approval rating can be an unsatisfyingly vague barometer. What exactly are people thinking when they say they approve or disapprove of the way a president is handling his job? Our new poll included an open-ended question asking Americans what they have either liked or disliked most about his presidency so far. The most common answer for why people think Trump is doing a good job was strong leadership, a variation of which was offered by 11%. Speaking his mind and not being politically correct was a close second, at 9%. In total, 30% of Trump approvers mentioned his overall leadership or personality traits when asked what they approve of most. But a somewhat larger group of Trump approvers, 40%, mentioned a policy-related reason for approving of Trump's performance, pollster Scott Clement explains. Some 7% said foreign affairs, while 6% apiece cited the economy, creating jobs, and preventing illegal immigration. Slightly fewer mentioned fighting terrorism, or his efforts on healthcare legislation. Americans who disapprove of Trump focused heavily on the president's personal and character traits. Topping the list of non-policy criticisms is the way Trump talks and acts, 13%, laments about him not being informed or knowledgeable, 12%, while another 12% mentioned concerns about lies, false statements or general dishonesty, Scott writes in a story that just published. Among disapprovers who named issues as their biggest criticism, the most common were immigration, 8%, and health care, 7%, the travel ban at 3% and others at 2% or less. Altogether, 46% of Trump disapprovers criticized something about his personality, honesty or style, while 25% mentioned a policy-related concern. The country may seem hopelessly divided, but the people who strongly approve and disapprove of Trump have something in common. When asked what they love or hate most about the president, 12% of strong approvers and 14% of strong disapprovers volunteered everything.